Hello and Happy New Year. Susan Zumo here, intuitive and originator of Soul Patterning Harmonics. Well, here we are. It is 2025. I've got the frequencies coming up for this year, and there was a lot. So I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget all of it. And so we'll go ahead and get started right away. 2025, I heard, is the year of nines. And we know what nines are. Nines are angelic support and the closing of cycles. What I heard was, even as we are closing out old systems and old institutions, we will also be opening up to the things that we have visioned and energized in 2024. We have created timelines for ourselves into the future, and they are going to begin to unfold. I heard this is going to be a year of unfolding for us, which I thought was very neat. We're going to have new opportunities to expand our light bodies, and I thought that was exciting. They said the more illuminated we are, the more illuminated we become, the quicker we will see our creations come toward us. No more seeking, no more going out there and looking for it. They will be coming to us. So isn't that nice? More receiving, less seeking. I thought that was really good news. I also heard that there will be a healing of relationships. Now, what that means is that relationships, all relationships, family, friends, intimate relationships, casual relationships, even work relationships, they will evolve or they will release. And that's what they meant by healing. Those relationships will evolve, they will resolve, and they may release. And so if that happens to you over the course of this year, especially in the first half of the year, let go with grace. Don't hang on to relationships that have resolved or need to evolve away from one another. It's okay, right? Not everyone is meant to be in our lives forever. And so I want us to remember that as we move forward into this year. All right, evolve or release. Well, that's kind of a theme for this year, so we'll talk more about that. There will be healings on personal levels, and they said a healing of personal challenges. Now, when they said personal challenges, they were talking about health issues, but it was interesting that they wanted to avoid the term disease or anything like that. They said a healing of personal challenges. So that can be health issues that will resolve themselves, or there will be a release. And what I was made aware of was that we are going to see a lot of people letting go this year. A lot of individuals in the news, in the greater world around us, and in our personal lives are going to choose to release. They are going to decide that they are done and they are not going to do this anymore. So again, we are going to be called upon and challenged to release with grace, to not hang on, to give them our blessings, to carry on in another form and in another dimension, in another reality. We know that there is no such thing as death. And so we will see people improve or release, and that will be their choice, not ours, right? And so we will need to support that with grace. I feel like we're going to see tons of that this year. And a lot of it will be individuals that we don't know, but that we will hear about. And so I'm sorry to give you that news, but we all know that they are transitioning into another reality, and that is their souls and their personalities' conversation with one another, and a choice that each individual makes within themselves. And so we have to honor that, right? All right, they said we will want to move forward with excitement, and that the duality I thought that was an interesting way to say it, right? I call them the B team. They said the duality. The duality will pull back. So here we are in a 9-year. We can release what is no longer working for us, be that fears, experiences, relationships, right? Ideas, old patterns, old emotions, and move forward. And even as we are excited to do that, the duality will pull back. And so we have a choice to make. We can decide within ourselves if we are going to play tug of war. Remember, they said, you can't play tug of war if both sides don't pick up the rope. So even as the duality pulls back and offers resistance, don't play. Don't play. Don't get embroiled in that kind of tug of war. Keep moving forward, right? Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Don't let anything deter you. What do my guys always say? Maintain yourself. If you stop and pick up the rope and get embroiled in that tug of war, it's going to be a stress, it's going to be a strain, and you are going to be tired. And that's not something that you want to do. Why delay your forward movement to go back and play with a group that you do not want to be involved in? So don't play with the duality, right? Keep moving forward. All right, the second half of the year, beginning in April, May, and June, because I heard April's the big month, and we know that April's the big month, right? Everything that I hear, everything that I am told is April, April, April. So April kicks off the beginning of the second half of the year. Is it a little early than the calendar? Yes, but we are moving at a faster pace, and we are plowing forward, right? We are continuing to move forward. So April, May, and June is the setup. They said, they said April is the big month, but June is the tipping point. If we maintain ourselves, if we continue on the path that we have envisioned and created for ourselves, and by extension, the rest of the planet and the world, June will be the big tipping point. June will be then the time that everything shifts in a grand way. So at that point, the bubble pops, they said. The bubble, that tension that we've been living under, right, pops in June. The setup is April and May. And that's when you're going to see energies intensify. You're going to see emotions intensify. And you're going to see the duality and the non-duality struggling against one another, and then it pops. So maybe struggling's not the word. Maybe it's just a tension that comes in, and that tension resolves. The bubble pops, and then new opportunities come in for us. You will see, and you may experience, expansion in careers, changes of position. Finances are really opening up for those who are willing to release fears or have released fears around money and security. That's going to be a great opening and expansion for us. I'm looking forward to that. I know you are too. There will be new medicines and protocols for treating once untreatable concerns, and they will be brought out to the public in the second half of this year. There will be nothing that can be treated if it is caught early enough for us to change, right, and to catch it. And then I heard even some other things that can happen later on. So be aware that there are going to be opportunities for, I guess we could call it last minute healings, last minute changes, last minute protocols that will come in and be made visible to the public in a greater way. Not just for those of us who go digging in the corners and in the remote studies and all that kind of thing, but more out in the public and available to more people, which is very exciting. I heard, remember, everything has a frequency. Consciousness is frequency. Therefore, everything has consciousness. And I said, well, I know that. And they said, yes. But now, as we get into the second half of 25, you will have more opportunities to communicate to those other consciousnesses, right? And I thought that was pretty interesting. They said to me, you will be able to communicate to the consciousness of the air, the water, and anything that comes into your body. You will have the ability to communicate and to work harmoniously with those other consciousnesses in order to bring positive frequencies into your body via the air, the water, and the food that you intake. Everything that comes into your body will be able to be harmoniously transmuted into something positive and supportive for our light bodies and our physical bodies. They said this would come in toward the end of 25, and I felt more like it was September, October, that we would see these things happening. Now, of course, we're talking in the average, so there will be many of us who will be able to do this way ahead of time, and some of us already are. And then it will catch fire as we move into the later half of the year. So we are not helpless victims of the things that are being placed in our air, in our water, and in our environments, or for the things that we are taking into our bodies, whether they are medicines, whether they are herbs, whether they are foods, right? Whether they are oils or tinctures, or anything that comes into the body. And I felt really good about that because I know it's been a concern for many people. By doing this, we will render those things ineffective, and so they will cease to take place. The duality will continue to do things that they think are going to be effective or have an effect on us. And once those things, we're just going to call them things, are rendered ineffective, there will be no reason to continue them, and they will cease. We are moving into higher frequencies that are not going to support that. Many of us are releasing old patterns of victimhood. And part of a pattern of victimhood is feeling that those things outside of us can get us. And so as we release those beliefs in this 9 year and release those knowings, we are going to see big changes happen for ourselves and for others. Okay? So it's not about getting to the gym and exercising. It's about shifting what we know and how we function and listening to what our body needs and to working with those other consciousnesses. Your workout machines have a consciousness. Talk to them. Work in harmony with them, right? Put everything to work for you by coming into harmony with it. Cooperating. Cooperative harmony, right? All right. This year is going to be a year of big release and big changes. I can't say that enough. Big releases and big changes. Some of us have been working on inner changes for a lifetime. Some of us for 10 years and some of us less. It doesn't matter. We are coming quickly to the tipping point where we're going to see the fruits of those labors. And that's going to be absolutely wonderful for every single one of us. So I want you to know that the end of the laboring toils that you've been doing over a lifetime are shifting, and you're going to see that. I thought that was absolutely positive. What will be coming for us, those changes that we will be seeing, are what we have asked for and what we have energized over the course of the last year and years. We have been praying, we have been envisioning, we have been energizing chart changes for ourselves and for others. And now it's going to start to come to fruition as we move through 25. They said, have no fear for these changes, but joyful anticipation of what is ahead. After all, we have created them individually and as a collective. And as they begin to manifest along our future path, along these timelines we've created, we have the opportunity to tweak them based on our perceptions. All right, so I thought that we have so much to look forward to in the coming year. I know this is just high level, and we're just touching upon some of those things that we can look forward to and anticipate as we move into 25. In order to support that, I'm going to be doing 4 light body activations this year. They're going to be approximately 3 months apart, and I say approximately, so don't take out the calendar and start counting. I will be beginning on January 18th. I will get the information out in some emails, so if you're curious or interested and want to get on my email list, just drop me a line. You know, my email address is susanzumo@gmail.com, and let me know, and I will put you on mailing. The other thing I wanted to let you know about is I'm going to be doing a soul patterning course online. That's going to be February 9th. And that's a wonderful healing technique, and it's a wonderful technique to bring in those blessings that we have in our Akashic record, those untapped or some tapped, and can expand on our spiritual gifts. So that's very exciting, very empowering, and we've had some great results with that, and that's February 9th. Higher Consciousness Cafe will take place on January 6th, and again on February 3rd. Of course, I will absolutely go ahead and post a meditation. If you can join us live, I would encourage you to do that. We have a lot of fun together, and it's a great opportunity to tap into that group energy and experience some community. So that's what the beginning of 25 looks like for me. Let me know what it looks like for you. Stay in touch, and let's start the year out together and look forward to all of what's ahead for us, because it's going to be absolutely wonderful, filled with absolute blessings, synchronicities, and unexpected joys. And that's what 2025 has for us. So until next week, when we get into the weekly frequencies and get a little more granular, I want to wish you the very best in this coming year, and know that you are never alone. Never alone. We are always here for you, and you are always loved and valued. So until next week, many, many blessings, and Happy New Year.